Welcome back to the channel. So I like to start every video about where Bitcoin is at because basically the whole market follows Bitcoin still. So we're out in this little bit of a rising channel, I would say, not quite a wedge. So we had a nice bounce, and then a bounce here at about 36.5 or so. Now we're headed back down. My guess is we're probably going to break through this support and through this trend line and head down further. But this is a nice little rising channel, so there's a good chance for a bounce here off the support or trend line or both, and then head back up north. And we could possibly see, 38,000, and then it could break up to the upside there or break here down to the downside here. Now, if you guys like to trade, I have a Bybit referral link in the description. Check that out. It helps the channel and stuff like that. And if you guys aren't familiar with Bybit, I'm planning on doing a tutorial video on that as well. But today's main video is about Cardano and the different news and bullish stuff coming out for it. So now this is a little bit of TA here from another company, another newscaster here. So basically we have this little bit of a rising wedge or ascending triangle formation. And we have a lot of resistance from the 100 EMA, lots of support levels here that we need to break and figure out. I don't really like to do TA too much on ADA and other altcoins, although ADA does separate itself from Bitcoin. It's usually not very likely. I mean, we're having a lot of bullish news. Once smart contracts get launched, there's no doubt that we're going to break away from Bitcoin. But because Bitcoin is in such a downtrend now and still basically considered a bear market, even with as much good news or even price action or technical analysis, a lot of these get invalidated just simply because BTC is moving in the opposite direction. So, but let's get on to the news. So I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. I'm sure this is just a AIGON, but let's say Igon raises 3.4 million funding to build the first data platform on Cardano. So if you're not really familiar with Igon or Igon, they set out to deploy a scalable platform for harnessing the storage and processing power of different decentralized grids of computers, coordinated over a blockchain network. So the platform will be the first decentralized storage network based on Cardano, with an Ethereum deployment already implemented. So basically, they've already launched on the Ethereum network, and they plan to migrate to Cardano. So that's what a lot of coins are doing now. They don't want to wait on deploying or anything like that. They want to go ahead and deploy, see if they can get any bugs worked out on the Ether, the Ethereum chain, and then migrate over to Cardano. So Igon enables the storage of all types of files, including big data repositories and large media files, all the way to smaller files used by the average person. In addition, Igon can networks enable secure computation, allowing resource-intensive tasks such as artificial intelligence and machine learning operations to be processed in a decentralized cloud. So anything to do with AI is a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff's kind of like vaporware and stuff like that. So you got to be a little bit careful with some of it. But if this is true and they're really going to use this kind of resource for AI, this could be really big, especially if we move the entire world further into decentralization, in the blockchain. We're going to get away from, Google's AI and stuff like that and Amazon AI and start moving towards a decentralized version of that. This could be a really good, really good investment long term. With the support of the crypto community, both institutional and grassroots, we are poised to become the decentralized alternative to AWS and all other big tech cloud infrastructures. Basically, like I was saying here, one of their biggest competitors is AWS. And of course, big tech is, like I said, Google, Amazon, and stuff like that. But that's it's bullish for the Cardano. These guys chose Cardano. Obviously Ethereum because it was the only one available now. But this is again bullish for Cardano. That kind of AI computation and stuff like that on the AI network is or the Cardano network is going to be a big deal. Another update here on the 28th, we had Venetta's strategic investment in the promising Cardano platform Vent. So a little bit about the Vent Up, ventup.io, as a core part of the Vent ecosystem. Vent Up, the community-based launchpad for game changers, is building the gateway towards a truly inclusive global platform that puts simplicity, inclusiveness, and security as precedents. And, I like this here because this really goes along with ADA, simplicity with like governance and stuff like that. Being able to run a billion users on a network and a system like Charles has always talked about. It's hard to run that when you have just one president trying to make all these decisions and so many different things. But when you have governance involved, the people choose the best path for the people. Inclusiveness, basically, you're not leaving anybody out. It's like everybody from Africa and try to help develop, that third world country or any other third world country, Ethiopia. I mean, even it's going to help out, El Salvador. And then of course security. Security is a big thing. Like Charles has always pushed the POS, and not only is it energy efficient, but it's truly decentralized. Not like just miners controlling all of Bitcoin. And if you're not really familiar with Venetta, they have other things. Bridge Mutual is one of the biggest ones that I'm familiar with. They do the insurance for like Anchor Protocol, and that's one project I'm invested in and I really like is Anchor Protocol. And Bridge Mutual recently announced that they will insure Anchor Protocol in your funds on Anchor Protocol. So that's pretty good. Another thing is 300 or 30 billion ADA now staked. $3 billion worth of ADA is now staked as Alonzo smart contracts excitement builds. So roughly 71%, or let's say 72 if you round up, of ADA's circulating supply, which is worth roughly 31 billion at today's prices, has been staked across 2,665 staking pools. According to the data provider Pool Tool on Thursday, the price of ADA was $1.34, and having gained 4%. So I mean that's a lot of ADA, and it's nice. It'd be nice if this was more or less locked, but ADA doesn't necessarily lock the coins in the pool. From what I believe is that you can still trade and you can still have the coins listed, but as well you can stake for 5% or so with these pools. So it's a lot of money. 31 billion dollars worth is a crazy amount. Um, so another thing now is Cardano is sharpening his focus on El Salvador following Bitcoin's legal tender. So again, this is the 27th. This news come out. Cardano's parent company, Input Output Hong Kong, has opened up communication channels with relevant officials in El Salvador with the aim to establish a state-level partnership for Cardano in the country, according to its founder Charles Hopkinson. He said, "We've been in talk with officials in El Salvador, and I may do a state visit." Hopkins said that IOHK has already submitted paperwork to request a state visit. And I think that's a pretty big deal. He's already putting in the paperwork. He's already trying to make these moves. It's really nice. The only other coin I can really think of that does stuff like this is maybe XRP, which I'm not a big fan of. But they had their guy Brad, who really goes out, and I guess he's more in the courtroom nowadays. But he actually goes out and he really helps. He's kind of like the focus of the coin. You can actually put someone to it. Charlie Lee was with Litecoin, but Charlie Lee wasn't. I don't believe he was as outspoken. Litecoin hasn't really been in the news as much as something like ADA or this. But then again, you got guys like Roger Ver for BCH, and well, we haven't heard much from him lately. So, but however, the move was fiercely opposed by the IMF. This is the talking about the legal tender. It was opposed by the IMF, which has said that the tender could have an unseen negative legal and economic repercussions for the country. Furthermore, the World Bank explicitly rejects a request by the El Salvador governor to help the country adopt Bitcoin as an official currency in addition to the US dollar. According to the World Bank, the decision was based on Bitcoin's associated transparency and environmental shortcomings, while El Salvador president has made it clear that no additional legal tenders will be considered for other cryptocurrencies. So even though he's kind of against, you can't really blame him too much. If you're just throwing out like a whole new currency, like here's a whole new volatile, legal tender that you're throwing in there, now all of a sudden you want to throw in another and another and another. Like, basically what he's saying as well is that there's no reason why, you can't have two cryptocurrencies in place, basically, to put two in at one time. I can kind of understand you're confusing your countrymen and stuff like that. but given total freedom to the seller, the total freedom to the buyer at the same time, even if the seller and buyer pick a different currency. So he's completely basically, opening the door to all cryptocurrencies. It's just right now Bitcoin is going to be the only legal tender, which is fine. I don't really think ADA is going for legal tender. We're going more for, you know, reworking, the finance, and fintech and stuff like that. If anything, maybe ADA stablecoins. You know what I mean? This kind of opened the door for them, but it's all about power to the people. You know what I mean? It's whatever the people, can utilize to further themselves and further their country. And as the president says, we're opening the door to BTC and making sure everyone knows that this is something that we want to adopt. But from BTC, you guys could move and integrate into other coins as you see fit, basically. So, and another thing is Nexo initiates Cardano integration with Exchange, Borrow, Earn for ADA. This come out on the 30th. So the main thing here is the initial launch included buy and sell services for ADA on the Nexo exchange, which yields up to 8% interest and the option to borrow against the asset at 6.9% APR. So Nexo is it's a pretty big. If you're not familiar with it, it's the world's leading regulated digital assets institution, and it has processed $30 billion plus for over 1.5 million users across 200 jurisdictions. So this is pretty bullish. Nexo is a they're a big player in the game. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. So it's definitely more and more coins every day are pushing towards Cardano and their ecosystem. For all reasons, for security, for low transaction cost, and then of course a higher input or a throughput transactions. So basically, that's it for me today, guys. If you like the video, you want to hear more, consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for the time.